Hello, this is Charles Bass with the USD Alumni Association. We are happy to present USD Chats with Charles, a chance to visit with alumni from all over to share their story and build community among Toreros. Today, I'm visiting with Kristina Bergstad. She is the founder of Number Solutions, providing CFO services for small businesses. She's also involved in a family-owned property management company and worked with PricewaterhouseCoopers, where she worked with numerous public and private companies and served as the global manager for a Fortune 100 company account. Kristina graduated from USD in 2006 with degrees in accountancy and Spanish, and she earned a Master of Science in Accountancy and Financial Management in 2008. She's also a certified public accountant, and now she's back home in Minnesota, where she serves as president of the Twin Cities Torero Club. Welcome, Kristina.
Well, thank you. That's a great introduction. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your time. It's fun to have you here. And the reason we're talking to you, as you know, is because of your expertise in the world of small business and your familiarity with regulations surrounding the federal relief programs related to COVID-19, as much as one can be an expert in that,
Yes.
that familiarity. So first, though, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well given the circumstances that we're in right now. It's a very different environment for everyone out there, and just trying to pivot my business to accommodate and help the small businesses that are out there deal with these uncertain times.
Yeah, so you work primarily with small businesses, and how is that going? Are you mostly local, or do you work with companies from all over?
I've been working with local businesses in Minnesota. I have been running our family business for about just over 6 years, and really learned the ins and outs of that side of actually, running a business, having to fill all the different roles as a business owner. You're not just the leader, but you're also HR, IT, have to keep up with any changes that are out there, laws, regulations,
Yeah.
You're involved in every single step of the way.
Lots of hats.
So, yep, there's a lot to do. So, and then, about a year ago, I started working just on a, more of a casual basis with small businesses that needed assistance with accounting and finance, and realized that this was something that I wanted to pursue, and then started Number Solutions. And so I've been providing these, CFO services to small businesses. I've, started in the Twin Cities area, and have a core group of clients, but with the COVID-19 pandemic coming and the stimulus package that was offered, I've now been helping not only my core clients figure out the different options that are out there for small businesses, but also expanding my network and helping other businesses in Minnesota and the Midwest area.
All right. Well, maybe we'll find some USD alumni to reach out to you as well. So how was the economy in Minnesota going before COVID-19, and how do you see it emerging when we get to that point?
That our economy here was strong. And, we were in a good rhythm here in Minnesota. Businesses, we're in a stable position. And once this came out, it was just a complete 180. Businesses, all of a sudden that we're open one day, we're closed the next. And it's really difficult too, because it's such an uncertain environment that businesses aren't able to plan and have a good idea of when they're going to be able to open back up, and when they do, what that is going to look like. Mm-hmm. So it's been very difficult for a lot of businesses, and essentially it's a really interesting time because it's every industry. It's not just one area or one sector that's been hit hard. It's really across the board in every way. Every business is affected in some way or another.
Yeah, it's a good time to have Zoom stock and Clorox stock and
yes.
Purell stock, I suppose.
Yes, it is.
So the regulations and the news in general is so dynamic, and just seems to change every hour these days. So how do you keep up?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Before, we started recording this, I was telling you that usually, being an accounting profession and finance, it's pretty standard. Day to day is usually the same old. There's nothing really exciting that happens in our industry. Maybe something new comes out, but it takes a while for that to happen. And it's really different now, where things are changing on a day by day basis, if not hour by hour. So When this started to happen and the stimulus package, came out with the CARES Act, I realized that a lot of small businesses, would need this information. And when you just go and search online, it can be really confusing. And especially if you don't have a finance or accounting background, you're not comfortable with numbers and all the different terms that are used in the articles and what you're seeing and hearing, it can be difficult to decipher everything that is out there. So, I'm part of the American Institute of CPAs. So they have been putting out a lot of webcasts and different, training that I've been able to follow. Our local SBA chapter has done a great job of having webcasts. And I have just been I spend about 2 to 3 hours a day, whether it's reading, watching webcasts, researching, just trying to stay on top of all the different changes. So it's now become kind of a full-time job, just keeping up with all the different things that are going on.
Too bad you can't get continuing education credit for all that learning you're doing.
Yeah, some of it I do to keep up my CPA license, but not all of it qualifies. So.
All right. Well, you mentioned that this is impacting so many sectors. Is there one or two sectors do you feel that may have the hardest time emerging from this successfully?
Yeah, it's as I've seen here in Minnesota, it's the industries that have been hit the hardest are restaurants here. They're used to customers coming in the door and sitting down. And while, we are here in Minnesota with the stay-at-home order, restaurants are able to do curbside pickup or delivery orders, but it's not the same. And we didn't pass into law recently, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, so a few days ago, where they could actually serve alcohol with orders. So now they're able to provide wine and beer to customers. So it's just, taking away one of, your products that you offer, beverages, that plays a factor too. So I think that's going to be hit hard. And, it should be interesting to see who bounces back, but I feel like it's going to be across the board. A lot of like the small mom and pop type shops that had a really big presence with, they relied mainly on brick and mortar sales and aren't able to pivot quickly to be able to offer something online or, kind of be creative in how they can still continue their business and generate sales and revenue.
It's going to be interesting. And it's interesting how each state is handling this differently.
Mm-hmm.
You just said Minnesota's just now gone to where you can sell liquor. That's such a huge part of the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Such a huge component of their profit and loss. So it is going to be interesting to see how we all get through this and how the many sectors come out. What advice can you give to someone who's, this is a pretty wide open question, but what advice can you give someone who is struggling to keep their business afloat right now? I know there are a number of resources you can recommend. Yes,
there's a lot of information and businesses are doing a lot of different things. One of my main points though is, to do what you can to stay afloat, you need to look at your expenses, see where you're spending the money, and see if you can trim some of that down, really kind of get a grip and control on money out the door, because you might not have as much cash coming in. So, and businesses, it's good to kind of do that review regardless. It's good to know where you're spending your money and where all the outflows are going. So it's a good process to do anyways, and see if you can negotiate different terms with vendors or payment options. And, that will help at least, the outflow of your cash. Also, just trying to figure out different ways to be creative and pivot your business and, to keep cash coming in some way or another, whether it's going to online sales, offering different types of products. There's a wide variety, and, it's whether it's a business owner sitting down with a peer or a mentor or, someone else that can kind of get into a creative session and kind of think of different ideas to be able to do that. And then, that's just kind of what the business can do. But there's also all these different programs that are being offered by, the SBA, local agencies, and different foundations, different company. I mean, there's a wide variety right now of grants, loans, all this type of stuff that is being offered. And, today we're recording on the 21st, and, this is something that's been changing every day. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, they're a government agency. They've had some great options for small businesses. Last week, a lot of those funds did run out for the programs that they put out right after the stimulus bill was passed, but it's expected that a lot of those programs are going to receive additional funds for small business owners. So, that's what I'm focusing on right now, is working with businesses one-on-one to understand their situation, what their plan is, and see which one would fit best for them. And because, that first round of funds ran out pretty quickly, it was, within 2 weeks that the funds ran out for the program, that, small businesses really kind of need to act fast if they want to get in on the next round of funding.
Yeah, those are all first come, first serve funding opportunities, right? So.
Yes, they are. And the main one that people have probably seen in the news that I've been helping out a lot with small businesses is the Paycheck Protection Program, or what's known as the PPP loan. That is something that has never been offered before. It's new. And it's an SBA loan, but it's being administered by banks. So banks are essentially doing all the paperwork and processing, because the SBA has got their hands full with a lot of other programs that are out there. And it's, a great option. It's meant to keep people employed and businesses running. And the great thing about this loan is that if it is used, when a company, gets the loan and they use it on qualified or eligible business expenses, it can be completely forgiven.
I just saw that in the news. That seems like a really good option, because I know companies are certainly hesitant to take on more debt in such a time of crisis.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of work on that one, because it is a little bit complicated. It's not, it's the, formula to calculate things is straightforward, right? It's monthly payroll cost times 2.5. But then there are all these different factors that come into play for the type of entity, to ask for loan forgiveness. What does that mean? And what can you spend it on? How do you spend it? And so I've been, doing a lot of research and learning about that program in depth, so that then I can walk businesses through from start to finish to make sure that, first of all, that the loan is something that they should do, and if they get it, how they can maximize that loan forgiveness.
Got it. I feel like we should be flashing your 1-800 number up across the screen. Well, we'll have to find a way to make sure people can reach out and connect with you. So USD has some wonderful programs for entrepreneurial students, such as new since you graduated, the Fowler Global Social Innovation Challenge. What advice would you give to someone who's planning to start a business right now? 2020 was going to be their year.
I've been reading actually some articles about that, and it just, it depends on what business it is. And, you might not want to launch tomorrow or today, but, it's definitely still a time where people are still, they're still buying things. There's still a need out there. And so, if you have a great business idea, you should still, pursue it and see what you can do with it. And it might be even a better time, because your business idea that you want to pursue might fit really well in the current environment.
So can you think of some ways that your fellow alumni can help the cause?
Yeah, I mean, I think if, whatever, we have such a wide network that is out there, and, everyone in some way or another has ability to offer some kind of assistance to a fellow alumni or student, or someone else in our community. If there's something that you are able to offer, putting that out there. I know we have that new alumni website that you can submit resources and then also requests. So, putting something on there, whether it's something that you are looking for and requesting, or something that you can offer as a resource to other alumni, would be great.
Yeah, I think so. That's alumni.sandiego.edu for everybody's information. So wading through this legislative and regulatory world can certainly be mentally exhausting. What are you doing these days to recharge your physical and mental spirit?
Well, you might have just heard my assistant, Scooby, barking in the background.
I thought that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's working from home for you. We have some construction going on outside, so he wants to make sure that he knows what's going on. But I think what I've been doing is just, one, sticking to a schedule. I don't want to get into the habit of, saying, okay, well, I don't need to be at a certain time or, at some place at a certain time. So I'm just going to kind of do whatever I want and just make sure I get my work done. But kind of sticking to a schedule. I've still been getting up early to do workouts, and I take them live on Facebook now instead of going to the gym. But there's some accountability there, and just Minnesota, it was a little bit chilly this morning. It was 20 degrees when I woke up, in the 20s, but now we got some sunshine and it's 40. So on those nicer days, getting outside, going for a walk, things where you can keep social distance, and just trying to connect with family and friends virtually. Thankfully, my parents are, starting to learn how to use they've learned how to use Zoom and some other, different technologies. And, we've had some happy hours over Zoom or other apps. So, just staying connected in some way that you can.
Yeah, no, that's important. It is 70 degrees today and sunny. And I think it's going to be 70 degrees for the next 7 days. So just not trying to rub it in, just reminding you.
I'm really glad I moved away from San Diego.
Reminding you if you want to come back and visit once we all are allowed to travel again.
Yes, once we can fly again and travel, I will be back there.
All right. And this is sort of a must-ask question. I've done a few of these interviews now. What are you binge watching?
I've been binge watching Money Heist on Netflix.
Not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's originally in Spanish. So, using my Spanish degree. And so I'm able to brush up on my Spanish, and it's, a Netflix series, and it's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Money Heist. I will put that on the list.
It's a good one.
Haven't heard that one. So good. Okay. So that's it. Those are the questions I had for you. Any last bits of advice you'd like to offer for somebody in the small business world, one of your fellow alumni who is trying to just stay afloat?
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's just somehow maintaining that hope, and that, we will get through this. Everyone's in this together. It affects all businesses out there. And, if you can get through this and your business can continue to thrive, do what you can. And there are resources and help that is out there. And we have a great alumni network too that can help.
Thank you for that. And I always end these with 3 questions. And I learned this from a podcast that is hosted by Alan Alda called Clear and Vivid. He's a wonderful actor and an incredible interviewer who is funny and smart. And I one day aspire to be either of those. So, and they're easy questions. So can you name a book or a movie that inspired you and why?
The book that came first to mind is a book called Springboard. And my dad gave it to me, it must have been 6 or 7 years ago. And I was thinking about, what I was going to do after being at PricewaterhouseCoopers and at a public accounting firm. And it just kind of was, a good way to just think about things and kind of, what would be the next step and how to take it.
Springboard. All right. That's a good recommendation. Okay. So you're back home in Minnesota, I know, but obviously San Diego is also a home for you as well. What is your go-to meal when you land at Lindbergh International? You could get in the car. What do you got to have?
My favorite, and I've still been going there to support them because, this place has to stay open, is Wakami Sushi by Lake Calhoun. Excellent. And their takeout is just as good.
Okay.
Yeah. I got on the sushi kick being out in California. So
yeah, it's all swimming right out there. So, okay. And the last question, what is your favorite place on the USD campus?
I actually really like the infinity pool with the meditation room at Peace and Justice.
Okay.
Because, I did a lot of long days, doing the 2 degrees at the same time, undergrad, and then, getting my master's at, I started that my junior year. So I would have some long days on campus. So just going over to Peace and Justice, going over to that infinity pool that just looked out in the ocean was a great view, and just helped kind of get away from the busyness for a little bit and regroup and be able to go right back.
It's a wonderful spot. Kristina Bergstad, class of 2006 and 2008. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So a great resource at USD for small businesses is the BRINC, the USD School of Business's Small Business Development Center. You can visit sandiego.edu/SBDC. And you can also learn more about the USD Alumni Association and find our alumni-owned business directory. Kristina, stay healthy and safe, and go Toreros.
Thanks, you too.